What's going on, Sky Squad? We back in the building. It's your boy DJ Richie Skye, and we are gonna talk about a couple of things today. Okay. Now, as you guys know, we've been following the stories coming out of Salt Lake City, and today will be no different. We've got some more intel on what's going on behind the scenes in Salt Lake City with regards to what's happening for season 3, what's happening with Jenny Nguyen after she made some very anti-Black Lives Matter, very racist commentary and postings on her Facebook page. The cast is now reacting. We've got word on whether or not Jen Shah has actually been let go. So we're going to talk about all of those things. And then right after that, we are going to discuss Ladies Who List. Yes, we're going to do our review of Ladies Who List, episode 3. The show is on OWN because, as you guys know, we got to support, okay? If you're in the chatterization, go ahead and let us know where you're watching from. I see that we have Forest City, Arkansas in the building. Who else is in here? Lufkin here. I see New Jersey's in the building. Who else is here? Pittsburgh is in the building. A lot of our regulars are here. Hey, California Cutie. Hey, CCF Freak. How you doing? I see y'all. I see some people are listening in from work. Okay, Severna Park, Maryland. I see you, baby. St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. Orlando is in the building. Come on now. Come on now. B-More is in the building. I see you, Bowie, Maryland. London, England. UK is always representing. Columbia, South Carolina. Toronto, Hampton, Virginia, Louisville. We got France in the house, baby. Maryland, NC, Dallas in the chatterization. Byron, Georgia. Dallas, Florida. Euless, Texas. Who else? Nairobi, Kenya, baby. Nairobi. Listen, I just got an invite to Nairobi to Kenya, okay, for the Great Migration this summer. So I don't know. We're gonna try to see if we can make it happen, okay? Chicago, NYC, Atlanta, Barbados. Who else is in the place? Come on, real quick, one more time. Phoenix, Arizona, NYC, Duncanville, Washington, D.C. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys jumping in this chat as we get down to business today, okay? Now, let's go ahead and start things off with where we got to start things off, and that's over into the Salt Lake City. So let's take a look on over there and find out what is going on. What's happening with the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City as they move into season 3 and they're filming right now, okay? So if we head on over to Housewives of SLC, this is a great site. I followed them since the very beginning of, well, when Salt Lake City was first announced. And so they've been doing the doggone thing. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Bryce Sander, who this tweet comes from, works for Entertainment Tonight, I believe. I think it's Entertainment Tonight. So anyway, he posted this tweet and he says, here's what I'm hearing about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. No one's been fired, which is unfortunate because after this, it does feel to me like Jenny should be fired, okay? And I'm going to get into that in just 1 second. Jen Shah is actively filming season 3, and the cast is taking the Jenny post very seriously. So we had heard yesterday that there may have been some word that Jen Shah might have been in trouble with this situation. There was someone who did post about DMing Andy Cohen and asking him if she had been let go, and he said no, she's still filming. So there is that. I cannot find the post. If I find it before we get off the line, I will definitely repost it here. Bryce also says we will see this all addressed on the show in season 3 and likely sooner. The only person not filming is Mary, who effectively quit because Mary, once she didn't show up at the reunion, that was usually the kiss of death, that someone is not going to show up at the reunion. So we're probably not going to see them again the next season. Now, with regards to this particular post right here, it is very alarming to me that Jenny has not been fired as of yet, because to me, you know, again, this goes against the morality of the brand. I mean, every company, most companies typically have morality clauses for talent, for contracts. And to me, this would be in complete violation of any type of morality clause if they have them. The next thing that I would say is it's good to see that Jen Shah is actively filming with this. But I don't want this to be a storyline on the show. And let me tell you why I do not want it to be a storyline. the post that she was making on her Facebook page, to me, represents trauma that Black people continuously face in this country. And I have no interest in seeing trauma playing out on my screen when I'm hoping for entertainment. I do not want to see this playing out on the screen for something that I'm supposed to be enjoying, much less we're living the trauma now. I don't want to relive it in 8 months. I don't want to do that. I don't think that's cool. And this type of trauma is not good for ratings. We've seen what happens when the cast go down this road. We saw it in Dallas. It didn't work well for them, and now they're done. Okay? So that's that on that. However, let's move on, because what I also want to show you guys is some of the other housewives of Salt Lake City have reacted. So we're going to go first to Heather Gay, and I'm going to use, again, Housewives of Salt Lake City so I don't have to keep jumping around. Heather Gay basically posted this. She says, "I can finally speak out today, and I want to say that I am deeply shocked, saddened, and disappointed by the blatantly racist and derogatory statements reshared and liked by one of my fellow castmates. There can be no haven in this world for hateful, anti-Black, and violent rhetoric. It is up to all of us to do the work of anti-racism and educate ourselves on the experiences of others. I am constantly learning and want to use this platform to lead with love and empathy while condemning actions of ignorance and racism. Black Lives Matter, and I will never stand beside or support anyone who says otherwise." And for that, Heather, we thank you. So I want to move on, because there was another castmate who also made a statement and who is getting quite a bit of backlash at this moment. And I'm going to go ahead and read her statement. And that person who made the statement is Lisa Barlow. And we're going to talk about how this created some backlash for her. So let's get into it. So Lisa says this on Instagram: "My heart is so heavy right now. I feel true hurt and disappointment by the post surfaced this week. I do not condone nor am I aligned with them. The posts were harmful and hurtful to a community I love. Working for change is constant and something that I personally work towards daily. Through action is where we all have the most impact and where we can have change that lasts. I want to be a support and be a proponent for change and improvement. My heart hurts for those hurting." Now, I do believe that each of these cast members, I think it was important for the audience and viewers for these cast members to make statements that are not condoning and that are in support of the movement. I definitely think that this was important, and it was nice to see them finally step up to the plate. I'm sure some of them were waiting for the official approval in order to be able to do so. However, and we're going to get into why Lisa is facing some backlash right now. I'm going to get into something that Jen Shah posted. So here, Jen Shah posted on her IG story, she reposted and shared an Instagram post from Kiki and T Show that says, "Lisa Barlow shows support immediately after Heather Gay." Okay. So the tag says, "What's going on?" Hashtag Andy Cohen, because we really haven't heard Andy Cohen speak out about this. We really haven't heard, the network speak out about this. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But Jen Shah is holding the people to task. Okay. She says, "Wait," or at least someone posted this and she reshared it. They said, "Wait, isn't Lisa Barlow Jenny's BFF? Yeah, but at least Lisa is consistent." And then the person who either she reshared from Kiki and T Show or it was Jen who said this. "Yeah, but at least Lisa is consistent. Hashtag burnt pancake." Okay. So there is that. All right. Now, the next thing that Jen posted was this. Okay. There was a post that, had indicated that she had been fired from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City for speaking out against Jenny. Now, at this point, Jen says, "Hey, Lisa Barlow, why the F would you bring someone that hates Black people to my home? basically questioning why Lisa would bring Jenny into her home and on the show, okay? Because we don't know yet whether or not Lisa knew about these posts or not. But the fact of the matter is, okay, the fact of the matter is, and I'm going to get into something that I feel like is important. And I'm going to get on the screen for this one, okay? If you invite someone, if we have a group of friends and we are going on a trip or we're going to a gathering together and you bring an extra, okay? You who brought the extra are responsible for the extra, okay? What I mean by that is if when we get on the trip or when we get to the gathering and the extra start acting up, okay? The extra start getting ruly. You are responsible for the person you brought into this mess, okay? Because we wouldn't be experiencing it if you didn't bring that extra to the party. And that's the bottom line. That's how I look at life in general. And you can ask any of my friends. That's my philosophy. You brought that extra, you need to deal with that extra. I shouldn't have to come up off of my seat, or as Mariah Huck says, I should not have to get off of my chariot to throw tomatoes with you, okay? So there is a point to what Jen is saying, okay? You brought this girl around. So when you bring somebody around, I'm going off your word. I'm going off the strength of my relationship with you. You need to be able to vouch for her or him or whoever it is, okay? Now, what I will say is this. I don't know what half of my friends post on Facebook because I don't go on Facebook like that. I stuff that I post on Instagram will get reshared to Facebook, but Facebook to me, it just ain't my thing. So I would not know what a lot of my friends post on Facebook. So if she don't know what was being posted, that's one thing, because I can't go back and prove now whether or not who liked the post or not. But what I can say now is you still kind of responsible for bringing this girl to us, okay? If she came as a recommendation from you, I don't believe that Lisa has those same ideologies, but I definitely feel like you still responsible for your friend. I mean, and that's just the reality of it. And I can say with certainty, I don't believe Lisa has those ideologies. That's just based on my own dealings and speakings with her, okay? That's something I feel like. But you still responsible for that person. So whether you was looking at her Facebook or not, and if you was looking at her Facebook, what you should have told her was, girl, this ain't a good look for you. Okay? I just got to be real about that. So you still responsible in this situation to a certain degree. So you're going to have a lot more explaining to do, okay? But again, the weirdest part to me is this. And you make a decent point, Nia. And I'm willing to vouch for this on this part right here, because there is an added element to this as well. And I'm glad you brought this up because it does bring about a good conversation. Okay. Nia says you're only responsible for the plus one on the first day. If the rest of the group forms their own relationships, no longer my responsibility. But you know what, Nia? I'm gonna tell you how I feel about this. This is the exact reason why I, in general, do not always befriend my friends' friends. Okay. A lot of times when somebody bring an extra around, I am very standoffish, not because I don't want to have no dealings with this person, but I'm a Cancer. So I'm very observant for a very long time. And I got to see how that person moves. I got to really understand them. And I also am not a friend jumper. Now, for those of you guys who may not understand what that is, a friend jumper is, and I know y'all know this person, is somebody, if you introduce a new person to the group, that a friend jumper is going to be the type of person that immediately jumps over you and starts connecting with them. Now, granted, they have every right to do so, but at least have a little bit of social graces about it. You know what I'm saying? Give it a little bit of time. Vet the person out. Because in my mind, I got enough friends. So I'm not in a rush to make a whole lot of new ones. You know what I'm saying? And that's just being real. I'm not trying to be fake and phony. I don't even like small talk, to be quite honest with you. So when I'm put into a situation with a new group of people, I'm kind of reserved anyway. You know what I mean? You might not think I am based on me talking to y'all on here, but that's how I am in real life, in person. So just because you my friend's friend don't mean you my friend. But what you are saying is valid. I want to acknowledge that. Okay? So I'm glad you brought that up. So to a certain degree, everybody else has some shared responsibility too. So I'm gonna go ahead and rock with you on that one, Nia, because I like what you said there. I like what you said there. And yes, Michelle, I got to see if we vibe. Like, you may not even be my vibe. You don't automatically, I mean, we not automatically gonna get to be that friends because my homie brought you around. Like, no, like that don't make no kind of sense to me, especially as you get older. You know what I'm saying? I might be a little bougie, but I mean, it's just about protecting my peace. You know what I'm saying? You guys to have discernment, okay? MJ says, yes, no friends of friends. You are responsible for getting to know the people you introduce to the circle before you introduce them, okay? But that's how I am. I wish I could do the small talk thing, but it's just not me, okay? Either we click or we don't. That's that. But anyway, that's the news that's coming out of Salt Lake City. I wanted to give you guys that little bit of information because I did tell you guys that we will be doing updates periodically. Okay. If you guys also notice, just a quick announcement. One of the things that I am doing also on this channel is for those people who, some people like live conversations. So we're gonna keep doing our lives as we do them. After the live, I'm going to break down the topics and I'm going to put out short form videos for people who just want the tea. Okay. Some people like the commentary and like our conversations, and some people just need the tea real quick because they might be working. You just never know the case. And I know that Instagram likes short content as well. So you guys will be able to find each of these topics in a short form video afterwards, and sometimes it may have some additional reporting. Okay, so there will be some replays available for people who want short form content, and I just wanted to say that. So you'll start to see that, just so I can try to serve as many audiences as possible. That's it. All right. Now, let's move on. How many of you guys watched last night's episode of Ladies Who List Atlanta? Let me know if you guys happen to see Ladies Who List Atlanta. I love this show. Interestingly enough, I find it very fascinating. And we're going to talk about the show. We're going to rate the show first. We're going to rate the episode like we always do. And then we're going to get into the nitty gritty of it. Okay. So for this episode of Ladies Who List Atlanta, it's episode 3. It's ironically called Triggered. Okay. And that is the buzzword of the day. It was last week as well. And for me, I'm going to give this episode, I'm going to give it a 9. And I'm going to give it a 9 because we get the aftermath of the collaboration dinner where everything went haywire after Robin introduced this idea of coming up with this bomb brokerage of Black women, women of color, you know what I'm saying, taking over the Atlanta market. And it did not end well last week. And we definitely saw that it did not end well this week. Robin had stormed off. She could not take it anymore. And Tiana and Crystal end up getting into it because Tiana tries to tell Crystal that telling your friend that she's triggered is probably not the best idea. You know what I'm saying? And then some new alliances kind of form up out of this episode. And we might have a possible friendship that ends over this episode with Robin and with Crystal. You know, what do you guys think will happen with that? We also got a lot more, I don't want to say a lot more, but we got more selling, more real estate, listings in terms of like trying to sell clients and that sort of thing. And we get a little bit more personal story. We also ended with a cliffhanger between Robin and with Kiana. Now, Kiana, word on the curb was that, and I don't know if this is true, word on the curb is that Kiana was actually supposed to be, or had maybe done some casting for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. In my mind, I do not understand why, if she was casted for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, it makes absolutely no sense to me why Kiana would not have been added to that show, because Kiana has swag. Okay. Kiana has a whole lot of swag. And to me, I felt like she would be able to go toe to toe with some of the ladies on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I definitely believe she has the makings of that type of persona, that aspirational lifestyle that the network tends to look for. But we got our own. So we happy about that, okay? Because where you end up is usually where you're supposed to be, all right? So I want to get into it. We start this episode off with the collaboration dinner. It's the conclusion of the collaboration dinner where Robin has gotten into it with Kiana, Kira, and her bestie, Crystal, okay? They have to walk Robin off as Crystal is yelling about her being triggered still. I don't understand Crystal's use of this term triggered, because to me, I feel like, number one, I'm just going to be very honest with you. It did not feel like Crystal, okay? And I'm going to use some photographs so that you guys who are not familiar with who some of the ladies are will know who they are, right? Because I know it's confusing sometimes when you have a new cast of people that we need to get to know. So this is Crystal. Now, Crystal and Robin are BFFs, allegedly, okay? But during the argument, Crystal kept trying to tell her BFF that she was triggered. Now, as Robin is already trying to defend herself against Kiana and against Kira, you have Crystal, who does not have her back and tells her she's getting triggered. Okay, so we have that going on. Now, Tiana is trying to tell Crystal, hey, stop saying she's triggered. Stop saying your friend is triggered. But Crystal then tells Tiana, to mind her own business because she don't know Robin like that. But Tiana basically tells her, well, you're supposed to be Robin's friend. That's not how a friend would act, okay? Now, Tiffany also realizes how this word triggering could impact Robin, because she too has gone through her own mental struggles in the past year and has come out of those struggles on top. So she really feels defensive over Robin because Crystal kept saying that she was triggered. All right. Now, Crystal feels like she was handling Robin. She felt like she was doing the doggone thing, like it was going well or whatever. And I'm like, now, Crystal, you think that because you've been going around the mulberry bush with your friend, that it went well? It might have been an indication that you were not handling her well when she popped your hand, okay? It might have been an indication that you weren't handling it well when she got up in your face. It might have been an indication that you weren't handling your friend well when she stormed off because you didn't have her back. All indications that you, my dear, do not know how to handle your friend, okay? So as Tiana is telling you, hey girl, you might not want to use that terminology with your friend, Crystal. You might want to be a little less defensive and getting triggered yourself and listen, okay? Now, Kira, we find out, okay, and I'm gonna pull it up. This is Kira. She's a luxury agent. Kira had taken off her shoes because she was ready to fight, okay? Because she didn't know what Robin was about to do, because Robin was up in people's faces and whatnot, and she was popping Crystal, okay? So she had to take her shoes off just in case something went down. See, Kira's one of the younger agents, okay? Now, Kira know how these things go. She done seen Love and Hip Hop, so she know, okay? Somebody's standing up. I don't know what's about to go down. So if I got to run or I got to bob and weave, I'm ready for you, okay? Because you're not going to catch me slipping and trying to tip off in these red bottom high heels, okay? Sasha says, I think if Robin is acting that way as her best friend, it's for a reason. Crystal knows what she's doing. That's what it felt like. It felt like, why would you be stoking the flames like this? Anyway, Crystal is trying to then justify Robin's behavior to Kiana and Kira and says that she's had to fight for her everything that she's had in her life. And Kira and Kiana are not here for it. Kira is like, girl, listen, my house burned down. I lost a 5-year relationship. I grew up poor too. So I don't want to hear these excuses about how because she had all this trauma when she was younger, we have had trauma too. Effie, we all had pain, okay? Effie, we all had pain. All right. Kiana basically says this, and I like me some Kiana for some reason. She says it basically comes down to learning how to manage your emotions. If you're gonna run a business, you have got to learn how to manage your emotions. And in my mind, when she said it, I got a little chill going down my spine because I was like, I'm having an issue with one of my businesses, and I'm kind of like emotionally, I just don't want to deal with it. But as I listened to what Kiana was saying, like, you guys to take the emotion out your business, because if you can't take it out of your business, what are you doing running a business? At this point in time, Crystal then starts to break down and cry because I think she's starting to realize what just happened and that she just got popped by her friend. Kiana says, girl, it's okay. You know this is how she acts, so you should be okay with it. Now, Kiana, I feel like was trying to empathize with her, but she was kind of shady, but it was real, okay? She's basically saying, if you know this is your friend, you know how she reacts, you know she'll be all right, get over it. Now, the next day, okay, Robin is doing yoga in her sunglasses, okay? And she's annoyed because she feels like Crystal is her best friend and did not have her back. She cries during her yoga session. The tears is flowing. Kiana, on the other hand, I kept wondering. Now, y'all know sometimes on these shows, I got to tell y'all the truth in case you didn't know. Let's go ahead and bust the bubble. Sometimes on these shows, the people be renting their houses, okay? And renting a house is one thing, because there's nothing wrong with renting a house. But I'm saying sometimes they rent a house for the show. I'm not saying that's happening on this show, but they will rent sometimes a house and put the people in the house and make it seem like the people live in this real ultra fabulous house. Again, ain't nothing wrong with renting a house. That's fine. What I don't ever like is when they rent the house to just show it on TV to make the people look extra fabulous. If you don't live a fabulous life, you probably should just not be on the show. Don't try to make it fabulous when it ain't fabulous, okay? And you could be fabulous living in any place, but I'm just saying, don't try to fool me, okay? But what I was going to say is this, okay? If that's Kiana's house, Kiana got a bad old house, baby. I mean, the way it opened up to the outside, the pool on the back, and then they had her situated and seated. Okay, now Kiana's last name is Watson. Okay, now if you guys can see here, okay, Exhibit A, okay, in the background on the wall beside the pool was a big old W. Okay, and so that told me, oh, this most likely where she lived, okay? Because in my mind, that W is for Watson. And I said, Kiana, you live in it, baby. You walking it like you talk it, and I am not mad at it. We talking about aspirational lifestyles. This is what we want to see on these shows. And when you look at her Instagram, because I went down the rabbit hole, these women are actually selling homes. These women are doing the work. Own. Y'all did a good thing here. And that's what I really wanted to point out. And that was my whole point in this conversation. These women are living the aspirational lives that we wanted to see. Okay? And I bow down to that, because I think it's not often that we always see that on these shows. It's real. This is real, okay? Anyway, she recaps the dinner with her husband. We're reminded of all these contracts that she had. Now, at first, I thought she said it was 26, because I did the math, and it turned out when you do 500 times 13, it ended up being, well, times 26, it ended up being 13,000. But last night's episode, which I just watched, she said it was 29 contracts. Now, I know that's only 3 contracts different, and maybe she had just gotten the numbers mixed up. But I was like, we got to be specific on these figures now. If we're gonna be mad at the woman, you're gonna have to have the right figures, Kiana. All right. Anyway, the way she is recapping this story is hilarious. I almost replayed the scene all over again, because Kiana has a TV personality. She just got it. She has an it factor. But I know she was wrong on that number, because last week she said 26. This week she said 29. And again, it matters, okay? To come out of this conversation, though, she does think that she's willing to have a conversation with Robin to get down to the bottom of their issues, okay? Now, Tiffany and Tiana go furniture shopping with Michael Hibachi. Michael Hibachi is, I guess, some type of designer of some sorts. He's thinking about putting his penthouse on the market. It's a corner unit in Midtown with all furniture, and he does not yet have an agent. So that's Tiana's cue to snap up this client. Now, he leaves Tiana and Tiffany, and for those of you guys who might be confused, here is Tiana and here is Tiffany, okay? Tiana is an agent. Tiffany is a closing attorney. Tiana, when she closes on a deal and she brings her client to closing, she will use Tiffany as her preferred closing attorney of choice. Now, I wanted to give you guys that detail so that you can catch up, because I know, again, we started a new show. Some people may not have seen it yet, so I still want you guys to get an idea of who these young ladies are, all right? Now, they recapped the dinner. Tiana was excited to see Crystal since they used to go to school together, but with the way that things ended up between the two of them arguing, she felt like Crystal was really provoking a lot of the situation. They talk about the triggered comment and they liken it to telling a person to calm down. So here's the thing. And you know, I was as I was watching this show, I was having a conversation and I was like, and I said the same thing. I said, telling someone they're triggered during an argument is also like telling someone to calm down. Neither one of those things are going to work, and they will only serve to make the person that you're talking to angrier. And it is also passive aggressive. 9 times out of 10, if somebody's angry, they already know it. You telling them that they're angry or calling it something else is not going to diffuse the situation. If Crystal was hoping to diffuse the situation, she probably needs to work on her diffusion skills, okay? Because they lacking. Anyway, Tiffany says that she relates to Robin with her mental health struggles, and she wants to have a conversation with her to really get to know her a little bit better. Crystal ends up meeting with her therapist, and all I could think of was she looks good in her confessional. It almost felt to me like the first confessionals. I don't know. Because she looked good in this one too. But it was something about this one to me that just, I don't know. She just shined a little bit better. I don't know what it was. I can't really even call it. But they both look good. But to me, I was just like, this is a striking look for her. Anyway, I digress. So she recaps the collaboration meeting and she brings up Robin and the situation that they got going on. She relays that when the 2 other women were coming at Robin, she chose to talk to Robin instead of calming the other women down because she thought that Robin would receive it better. And I'm like, do you know Robin? I don't know Robin well. As a matter of fact, I've seen her probably for all of 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes out of 2 42-minute episodes previously. I'm just doing the math. And even I know that telling Robin that she is triggered is not going to work. So why is it that you, Crystal, who have known her for a longer time, don't know that was not going to work? Why? Okay. Have y'all met before? Anyway, she doesn't feel like she can help Robin, and she didn't realize how sensitive she needed to be to Robin's needs. She relays that she didn't know that the word triggered would trigger Robin. And it makes me wonder, Crystal, how many times have you used the word or the term triggered while you've had a confrontation with somebody? I hope you don't run around using this word with other people, because for a lot of other people, what Robin did to you was light, okay? She then lets the therapist know that Robin hit her, okay? And the therapist says that that's a boundary issue and she's gonna have to put a stop to that type of behavior. Now, I do agree. Robin might have been triggered, but she ain't deserve. I mean, Crystal ain't deserved to get popped like that, okay? And it was actually by the grace of God, because you don't know how somebody else would have reacted to that. But in my mind, it tells me that Crystal and Robin have been around this mulberry bush before, for her not to be too offended that her best friend had done popped her. Because I don't know that the situation would have ended well for me if my best friend popped me. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that. You can say what you want to say, but you need to say it from over there to me, okay? Actually, do not yell at me. That's number one. If we're friends, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if we're friends, if we are in relation, if we are family members, I don't know what you do with other people, but you cannot yell at me. That is definitely triggering for me, Okay, I'm gonna let you know that. I don't deal with it, and I will shut down, and the conversation is over, and I'm done with you. Okay? Because if you can't talk to me with the same level of respect that I'm talking to you, then you don't deserve to talk to me. And I don't care if you're right and I'm wrong, but you're not gonna yell at me. Okay? And you definitely not gonna hit me. Anyway, Kira is still on the hunt for a condo for B Simone. Y'all know who B Simone is she a comedian or is she like a social media personality? I know she is real big and well known, and I don't mean I mean just she's well known by the people. Okay, and I know she definitely does things. She's been on Wild and Out, but is she more of a comedian or is she more of a social media personality or an actress? I don't know. Okay. And I'm not being funny. I really just want to know what her title is. And maybe it's all of those things. You know, whatever she doing, she getting money. So, it ain't no hate from me over here on that. Anyway, she meeting with B Simone to go over another new place. They goes and they looks at the W residences. I like the space, but I wouldn't want to live there. I don't want to live at a residence where I feel like a whole lot of other people. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it might be a little too popping. You know what I'm saying? When I come home and at the end of the night, I don't want to feel like I got to bob and weave through a whole bunch of who's and other celebrity types of people and other influencers and stuff like that. When you get home at night, y'all, you just want to be home. Like, you don't want to have to navigate through crowds and stuff like that. And I don't know if the W is like that there. I'm just thinking about what I know that the W residences are like when you live in like Hollywood. I know what those are like, okay? And granted, they have two sides usually, the W hotel and then the W residences. But at some point, you still may come into contact with people who are just floating about, okay? So B Simone, I would not go there if I was you, all right? She ain't gonna buy that place no way. I don't believe it. Because then we would all know where she live at. All right. B Simone is all of the above: actress, comedian, and social influencer. Okay. Okay. We could deal with that. Ange 29 Boo says the W is in the middle of downtown Atlanta and has the best rooftop view in the city. See what you saying to me, Ange, is that it's popping. Okay. I can't stay there. I need to stay somewhere out of sight. Okay. I can't stay where it's popping. I want to go where it's popping when I want to drink, but then I want to be able to go home. Okay. And home cannot be where it's popping. That's just me. That's just me. All right. Robin goes to meet with Tiffany for lunch. Now, we learned that Robin got kids that are 32 and 24. Robin looks good for however old she is. I mean, and it ain't about age per se, but she does look good. She says she was ready to hurt somebody at that collaboration dinner, and she admits that she is healing, but she not healed yet. Okay. Tiffany lets it be known that she recognized that Robin felt attacked, and she tells her that she understood. Robin then admits that she has some mental stability issues. And I have to, you know what I do like about Robin? I like that Robin, even though she is very emotionally charged, she does not come across in her confessionals like she's being over the top. You ever watch some reality TV shows and you just know that the person is putting on for the camera and their personality, it's like at a certain point in time, some people are always like, everybody was trying, at one point in time, I just felt like people were trying to be Nene. And I know a lot of people may not like Nene, But what I mean by that is a lot of times you would watch reality TV shows and you would have this person sitting in the confessional chair just being and doing the most, right? What I like about Robin is that she is a complex character, but she ain't overacting or nothing like that. She's probably overreacting, but she's not overacting. And what I like about that is that it comes across as very real more than anything else, in my opinion. Okay. Now, Tiff says that's what I get from Kiana. I can see what you are saying there to a certain degree, but I almost feel like, too, that I'm going to tell you what happens a lot of times with reality TV. When you go to casting, a lot of times they will want you to be the biggest version of yourself, right? Oh my God, we need you to bring the energy, bring the energy. In my mind, this is what happened. Somebody told Kiana, girl, bring all the energy, bring all the energy. She brought the energy, especially in the beginning. But then I feel like as we continue to watch Kiana becomes, that energy comes down a little bit. And we start to crack open the egg a little and see a bit more of her personality. That's what happened to me. In casting, they're like, we need all of your personality because they want to see energy. But when it's time to actually film the show, they want real. That's how it works. That's how reality TV works. When you're casting, they want to see all the energy. When it's time to really film, you're going to have to be you and just that. And that will carry you so much further in this industry than anything else. So, just to kind of go through and review for everybody, because I see some people asking questions. This is Kiana, for those of you guys who were curious. This is Kira, Tiana. This is Crystal, also Crystal, Robin, and Tiffany. Okay. Moving on. Let me see where was I in my notes. Oh, Tiffany tells her that the word triggering was basically offensive, and Robin admits that she also has ADHD. And Tiffany then says she wants to recommend her a therapist because she tells her about her own experiences with anxiety. I'm going to let y'all know this. I personally felt like I wanted to interview Tiffany after watching this episode. Not only, but mostly because I experienced anxiety myself. So as she was talking about it, it resonated so well with me. And I just kept finding myself thinking, I want to have a conversation with her. And usually when I do interviews, I don't always want to interview the most popular character. I want to interview the person that is the most interesting to me. Or I want to interview the person that I feel like we haven't gotten all of their story so that we can get more of their story, So that's why I want to interview Tiffany. Anyway, I love the way she's speaking about anxiety. It's totally relatable. And then they bond over having kids at a young age. I just loved every single second of that conversation because I felt like so many people could relate to it. That's just how I felt about it. I see some people, who said that? CCF Freak says, I told y'all Kiana gives me Melody Holt, Kelly Price in the face. And I see somebody else says Q does remind me of Melody Holt. Tiana meets with Michael Hibachi in his unit. The unit is sexy, okay? The unit is sexy, but it's small. And essentially, this man, Tiana wants him to sell it for like 1.9 million. It's in a penthouse. He's put a lot of work into it. And I think something I'm learning about real estate is sometimes people who are investors will maybe get too invested in the process of putting a lot into a home. And sometimes maybe it doesn't matter how much you put into the home. If it's small, it's small, okay? And you can put all the lipstick you want on the pig, but it's still a pig, okay? And that's just the case, I believe, with some real estate. It's small, brother. The listing amount that she gave you was 1.9, and he talking about he want way more than that. The only thing I was confused about in this scene was that it just ended right there. We didn't get, unless I missed it when I was watching it on Hulu, we didn't get no continuation of that scene at all to know what happened with the listing, if they agreed on it. It was just left hanging. So that's one of the reasons why I did not give this episode a 10, because we was left hanging on that note. And we about to be left hanging again on another note. Kiana meets up with Robin and they dive into what happened the night of the event. This was definitely a more subdued Kiana in terms of her personality, but she wants to get right directly into what the issues are. Kiana explains her side of the story about how she came into the collaboration dinner and how she felt like Robin was dismissive of her and the whole situation. Robin says that she was caught off guard and she didn't know how to respond, and she immediately went into defense mode. Robin then says that she felt her apology was discounted. But Kiana's like, well, girl, you apologized, and then we're like, but you mad? But you not over it? Like, what? And Kiana basically has to kind of give her a play-by-play of how an apology should go. They still continue to disagree because Robin thinks that Kiana was really just being passive-aggressive and she's not willing to let go of that. And then the episode ends. And we're looking at scenes from next week. I was like, it's over? It's over already? We didn't get no resolution to this conversation. All we know is that they were going to talk about the deal that went bad. And that was that. It was odd. It was so odd the way it ended. So that's why I had to take away a point, because I was like, y'all left me hanging with two situations. We need some follow-up. I will tell you, though, that the trailer for next week's episode does look very juicy. So I will be watching. We will be recapping. And if we can get a interview, I will be hitting up my contact from OWN to try to find out, maybe we can get somebody from the cast. Again, right now, I want it to be Tiffany or Robin, because I kind of want to understand Robin's perspective, because I don't understand it quite yet. But I want to talk to Tiffany because I just feel like her perspective on mental health would be a valuable conversation for us as a community to have. So, that's Ladies Who List Atlanta. Thank you guys for tuning in to the live chat. Again, I will be breaking down, I think I'll probably break down my review of this and then also the Salt Lake City stuff into two separate videos to keep it in shorter form content for people who, again, like those little small clips. It's Saturday, y'all. Hopefully y'all get out and do some things that you enjoy today. Know that I love you. If you ain't told nobody that you love them today, go ahead and tell them, because y'all life is short. All right. And we will catch you guys in the next video.